As a realtor in Sarasota County, here's the question I get asked all the time. Is now a good time to buy? Rather than giving a quick yes or no, today I'm going to break it down based on 3 types of buyers. And real quick, before we get started, I do want to let you know that my role as a realtor is to help people actually slow this buying decision down, look at the facts, and choose the right strategy for their own unique situation. If you'd like my help figuring out the right time and the right strategy for you, I'm always easy to reach, and all of my contact info is in the description below. All right, let's get started. When someone asks, is now a good time to buy? My honest answer is, it really depends on the type of buyer you are. Are you buying a primary residence? Are you buying a seasonal or snowbird home? Or maybe you're looking to buy an investment property. Each of those buyers is looking at very different sets of factors. So instead of a generic yes or no answer, let's break it down by those 3 categories. Let's start with those who are looking to buy a home to use as their primary residence. If you're buying a home to live in full-time, the most important question isn't about the market, it's about how long you plan to stay. If your plan is to be in the home for at least 3 to 5 years, this is actually a great time to buy. Not only are prices in Sarasota County down year over year, but over the last several months, prices have largely stabilized. We're seeing small ups and downs month to month, but not sharp declines. Could prices dip a little more? Possibly. But this is not a collapsing market, and this is not 2008 all over again. And anyone who tells you that is just fear-mongering and just looking for clicks on their YouTube channel. The truth is, for those buying a primary residence, trying to perfectly time the market usually matters far less than buying a home that fits your lifestyle. And that's especially true here in Sarasota. The most desirable parts of the county, close to the water, beaches, and boating, aren't seeing major price drops anymore, and those things don't typically get cheaper with time. That's why I tend to remind my buyers that time in the market is usually more important than timing the market. Bottom line, if you're moving here for the lifestyle, which most people are, and you're planning on staying in the home for a little while, this is a great time to buy. Inventory is higher than it's been, although it appears to have stabilized. Prices have dropped, although they have appeared to have stabilized, and sellers are making deals right now. So if you're buying a primary residence, my advice, buy because of the lifestyle, not the market. Next up, snowbirds. If you're buying a seasonal home, there are a few extra items to think about. Because the home won't be your primary residence, you won't receive the homestead tax exemption. Without that, your property taxes will be higher than those buying a primary residence. To qualify for that homestead tax exemption, you do need to live in that home for at least 6 months and 1 day each year. Also, make sure to pay attention to the HOA fees. As I mentioned in a previous video, these HOA fees can be high, and if you're only here a few months out of the year, you'll need to decide if it's worth paying for amenities that you don't use year-round. And for condo buyers, HOA fees have increased significantly in recent years, largely due to insurance costs. Now, with that said, there are plenty of communities in Sarasota County with little or no HOA fees. And as a buyer today, you definitely have more options than you did a couple of years ago. And again, sellers are more negotiable right now than they've been in a very long time. But honestly, for most snowbird buyers, the real question is simple. Do you really want to spend another winter dealing with snow and ice? Most seasonal buyers aren't purchasing a home for financial reasons. They're buying it because, well, they hate winter. So yes, prices may move slightly one way or the other, but winter, that's not changing. So if escaping winter is the goal, what are you waiting for? Okay, now let's talk about investors. Investors are facing the toughest market of the 3 groups. While rents have certainly increased, profit margins have tightened once you factor in the increase in purchase prices, the increase in insurance, HOA fees, and property taxes. And again, there's no homestead exemption for investment properties, so your property taxes are higher. In most cases, the returns simply aren't as strong as they once were. There are exceptions, but they truly are exceptions. One other important thing investors need to be aware of is short-term rentals. There's a common misconception that if a home is not in an HOA, that weekly rentals are automatically allowed. That's simply not true. In Sarasota County, outside of city limits, a property must meet 2 requirements to be rented for less than 30 days. 1, it must be on a barrier island. And 2, it must be zoned RMF or residential multifamily. Not having an HOA does not mean short-term rentals are permitted. Do people do it? Yes, of course. I can go look up Airbnbs right now and find plenty. But they are in direct violation of the county zoning laws. Will they ever get caught? Probably not. I really don't think anyone's actually enforcing it, but there are fines if the county does decide to enforce it. So, if you're considering an investment property, make sure you look into zoning and regulations just as much as you look into the financial numbers. So, back to the original question, is now a good time to buy in Sarasota County? Like I said at the beginning, it depends. My professional take, for those buying a primary residence, absolutely no question about it. For snowbirds, most likely yes, as long as you understand some of the extra expenses. But either way, remember, it's still better than shoveling snow. For investors, the market is definitely more challenging, but you may still find some hidden gems, especially if you're willing to put in some sweat equity. So if you're thinking about buying in Sarasota County, whether it's your primary residence, a seasonal home, or even an investor looking for that hidden gem, I'd love to help you out. All of my contact information is in the description below. Just call, text, or email me anytime. See you in the next video.